inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption, breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick.
placed near enough correctly. Just evoked throwing a bit of a wrench in the works there. I did say I think he would end up being fifth in the table,
Mm.
so I will take the
You're a
L
bit
on that
off there.
one.
Well, of course, it's not
Bit
over
off.
yet, but some early signs that are positive for him.
Um, yeah, no, it's been pretty good. Challenger there, close as always.
Yes, yeah.
I'd say Champion Tier is revealing itself slowly. The kind of dynamic that we'll be looking at in the next couple of weeks of I don't want to say the hierarchy, but I'm going to. So of the hierarchy of the champion tier and who's where. And I feel like we're getting into a lot more of the more exciting games as we go into week two.
Yeah, I really feel like Champion Tier maybe a bit more of a closed book going into it. We were more in the dark of where people would sit. We sort of expected that the top four would sort of be a clear top four. Actually, based on these standings, not so much. We thought Krill and Jamingo would be bottom two comfortably. I think everyone
Yeah,
thought Krill would be bottom, but then of course he beat Jamingo, as I think only one or so person predicted. That was myself. I did put
yeah.
Krill above Jamingo. Yeah, I was the only person. And it's coming out just as I expected. Clearly, I am the prophet. But yeah, picking Krill over Jamingo there. He did win
uh,
2-1 by slim margins, but even so.
to be fair to Fedwall, that has been a game that's not been reported yet. Of he took it over Domingo, so he's technically, if I'm not mistaken, fourth place.
Yeah, so obviously
Um,
a couple week two matches have been played as well, so
yeah.
those results will change these
Oh,
tables.
that's
But
what week two.
these are week one
Um,
standings. Yeah,
I feel like Fedwall had a very rough week one. He was playing against, I believe it was
yourself
myself
and
and
Rahiden
Chromium,
and Rahiden.
Raheden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so two of the
Um,
other top four. And if
but
I'm playing
both
Chromium this
very
week.
close games, I think, as well.
Yeah, definitely. Barely beaten by both of you, I think, both game three and both close game threes at that. So Febwell do.
Yeah.
I think he has a better week two ahead of him. Certainly, he's beaten Jamingo, heavy favorite
Yeah.
against Krill, and you never know what he'll do against Chromium.
I expect Fedwall to go 2-3,
Hmm.
scrape up that fourth place. Maybe 3-2, who knows? Um, I expect it'll either be myself or Chromium in the top spot.
Yeah.
And I expect Raheathen to be a solid third. But Raheathen versus Chromium could be a. Because I can see playstyle. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those cases where Chromium just kind of has Raheathen's number and a
Possibly
lot of
so.
yeah. But no, it's been a pretty exciting week, I think.
Yeah, and those matchups, obviously, we had a few of that top four that we expected clash in week one already, as you said. Yourself and Vebwell played Vebwell and Rahiden, and yourself and Rahiden as well, which was the last match of the entire week. For week one. All fantastic games, all went to game three. But you came out on top of that little exchange, Sam. So that's why you sit on top of the standings. And Chromium, sort of the main contender left for you, I guess. You're playing Jamingo as well this week, who shouldn't be much of a problem. Um, and then Chromium, really, as you say, potentially that battle for top spot. Chromium not tested thus far. He's had a very very comfortable week one, where he's played Jamingo and Krill, and even dropped a
Yeah,
game to Jamingo, which is not many other people have. Krill the only other one, Vebwell 2-0'd him.
it's not
Um,
a good sign.
it's not the best sign for Chromium. We'll see how he does under that pressure against the top dogs of like yourself, Reed and Vebwell. He's playing all of the other top four on paper
Yeah.
this week, so Chromium's going to be it's going to be tough. But if he comes through it, then I think we really will have an undisputed top dog going into playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be all or nothing for Chromium. I feel like if Chromium even loses one or two games, it'll be a failed mission.
Hmm.
Um, but he's lost a game to Domingo, and that obviously I've got two games lost, but they were, if I'm not mistaken, against Redball and Rahiden, and I'm not mistaken on that. That's I don't know why I said that, but I don't know. Losing the game to Domingo, it's worrying signs. It shows a lot of weakness. It shows a potential for to be exploited. I mean, I don't know what Domingo done against him to take him
Hmm.
so close. Apparently, it was a 0 second goal in game three that won
Yeah,
Chromium the
very
game.
close, surprisingly so.
I don't know what Domingo was doing. I don't know what Chromium was doing, but without any context as to what actually took place that game,
It's tough to
um,
say.
yeah, it's tough to say. We don't have a lot to go off on that, but the fact that Domingo took a game and almost took the series is it's interesting.
It's definitely not what anyone expected, I would say, and it's just going to make this test for Chromium even more sort of important and pivotal. Everyone, almost everyone, picked Chromium as the top seed for this event. Only yourself picked you, and that's looking pretty decent prediction at the moment, Sam. You are top of the table. Just looking at the power rankings again as we go back and forth between them. But Chromium universally almost picked as the number one seed, and
Yeah.
he's 2-0 but against the bottom two and lost the game to one of them. So that's what I mean. You know, we're gonna see how he does against the best three players, and all of them better than who he's played so far. We'll see how he does against Webwall, who's playing today.
Yeah. No, no, I'm not. I'm actually. I know, obviously, I put myself in the top spot or what have you, but I'm not really expecting to end league play up at the top. But I was a little bit, I don't want to say insulted, but a bit shocked when a couple of my fellow gamers put me through it. I don't know what they were expecting. I'm glad to have proved them wrong. Of course, you put me fourth
I did.
below both Redwall and
I
Rahiden.
did. I did. I mean,
So
it could still materialize at the end of playoffs. It's not impossible, but
could
no, I mean,
it?
well, yeah, you could potentially think things go the wrong way for you drastically. It could, I think, but
Assuming I can beat Jamingo, I think I'm in a good spot.
well, that's a big assumption, Sam. Now he's a bit of a beast, is old Jamingo. But no, obviously you're expected to do very well. Probably a top two looking likely now for you. And you are first at the moment. And but I really think we know your level that you're going to play to for the most part, Sam. I feel like you're not really an unknown quantity at any level. Chromium is really the player we have all the questions about. It's whether Chromium plays to a level we think he can or not that's going to decide this division. And if it's not, you'll take it.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be close either way it goes. I think it's just a matter of who takes it on the day because I'm actually hoping to I don't know if I'm not mistaken. It's about to be a game going on between Vebwalian and Vebwalian's whatever his name is. I believe it's currently taking place
Is
actually.
it?
Vebwal
Is it?
seems to be 3-1 up
Mm,
in a private match. I don't know
interesting.
what's going on there, but second, I'm sorry, I had to interrupt everything for a second. Is
Oh well, we're
Chromium?
getting some live updates here from the Vetball Chromium game. Love to see it.
I don't know if Chromium's in the game at the minute, but we will get that to you. One second.
Yeah, it does look like Vebwall is winning 3-2 at the moment. Chromium has just leveled it up. We'll keep you up to date with that one. 3-all in what I believe is game one there of a best of three, of course.
yeah, no, we'll come back to that because I'm going to see if I can get myself into that lobby. But in the meantime, yes. I was a bit surprised by Chromium's loss to Jamingo, and it's given me a little bit of hope. You know, it's nice to give a little bit of hope.
It certainly
Um,
mixes things up anyway. I think certainly that universal top spot is looking in danger for Chromium, and if he's going to do it, it's going to be very close. There's
yeah.
not going to be any steamrolling in this division, I don't think, unless it's done by yourself. So still potential for that, but sitting there on 6 wins and 2 losses, looking pretty good. Uh, did go to game three with Velball and Rahiden though, two very good players. There's not a whole lot in that, I would
Yeah.
definitely say, and maybe if you had a bad day, both of those players could easily beat you, but I think you just have that little edge over both of them when it comes down to it, and we'll see if that's the same case with Chromium.
I'd say that about Vetball. I haven't seen enough from Raheem yet to really. For all I know, he was having a bad day and I was having a
Mm.
good one, and it wasn't the expected result. It felt like we were of similar levels. To be fair, I don't know. I felt I tried to just kind of control the game and I kind of just walked. So um, Cassis, who's taking that Vetball versus Chromium? I think Vetball might, but my only reason for saying that is because
Wow, it's 6-3 now to Webwall.
yeah,
Interesting.
there you go. Um, 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
No, my reason for saying vet ball is because I feel like Chromium. could very easily get overwhelmed. For all we know, that's not even the Chromium game, but it should be, right?
It is. It
I'm
is the Chromium game. Yeah, I have Chromium as well. He is 6-3 down in the game, so interesting stuff. But as well, maybe we're just being shown that we are a bit too quick to judge Chromium because we've actually only seen 2 matches from Chromium coming into league play,
yeah,
and we all picked him number one based on that.
and yeah, that
I think a large part of that was that he thoroughly outplayed Rahiden in every department in his match.
yeah,
Who and we haven't seen anyone else do that. You know, even yourself when you took down Rahiden, it was extremely close until the end.
yeah,
But maybe that just comes with the fact that Chromium and Rahiden they've played so much. Chromium knows his game inside out, no doubt. Them being
yeah.
teammates, so um,
I
I think that
I
might
have
maybe
a
that played into it more than we thought.
I have a feeling that, and I hate to say this, but I have a bit of a bad feeling that Vedball is going to end up beating Chromium. I feel like Vedball could match up very well against a player like that, but I don't know that I do. So I could
Mm.
see a possibility where Vedball beats Chromium, I lose to Chromium, and then suddenly, who knows who's at the
Yeah,
top then?
that number
Because
4 spot that I was saying is still possible, Sam. You never know what's gonna happen.
yeah, absolutely. When you put it like that,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a, just a, it's
mm,
a, despite the 3-0 there, it's a very tightly packed top four, I think. And you see Vedball, like we said, he's at the bottom, but based entirely on schedule, I would say, he could easily be 3-0 if week one had been a different schedule for him. We just don't
yeah,
know. But
yeah, exactly.
he's doing well against Chromium, so we'll have to see how that one goes. Moving on, though, a little bit up to Challenger tier on the graphic. We talked a lot about Champion tier, Sam. Interesting Challenger tier, feel a bit more quiet in its results. Maybe more as we expect. Taste Rainbows and Wrench, they were the 2 players based on the power rankings that were predicted last, and it's exactly how we predicted as well. Wrench in 5th, Taste Rainbows in 6th, based on week 1 standings.
Yeah,
Leon in the 4th, sort of just barely scraping into playoffs off the current standings. Um, Maybe that's a bit of a surprise, although some people put him there, a lot of people did. He was an average of third pick. Jenga Benga, he's had good performances. He lost to Evoke, which was a surprise at the time because of course they matched up in qualifying, and Jenga took that 2-0. So he was
hmm,
the firm favourite for that one, and everyone uh, had Jenga at least top 2 in their predictions. A couple even put him first. Um,
yeah,
and then Evoke coming out of nowhere, really. He qualified. He had a very poor qualifier one, if we think back all the way to the qualifiers, which is actually nearly 2 weeks ago, which is crazy.
yeah,
Um, in qualifying, Evoke had a very poor qualifier one, didn't show up for his first round match, and then got 2-0 by Jenga Benga. Didn't really have much of a run.
yeah,
Then in qualifier two, went through a really nice upper bracket run, swept Taste Rainbows, and took out Leon, who was top seed for that qualifier, despite losing in the first one. Um, and now he's continuing that run. He's 2-0 Jenga Benga, and he has 2-0'd. I believe it was it Leon? It was Taste.
um,
It was Taste. Evoke beat Taste 2-0 as well. So he's 4-0. Hasn't lost a single game, and yeah, he is the only player across both divisions not to drop a game so far in solo series league play, which is really interesting. We can look at the matchups here with all the scores.
yeah. He's only played two, and to be fair, you're in a similar position to him.
Hmm.
Um, I personally think what's gonna happen is he's gonna have a bit. He's gonna fall down a bit in week two,
Mm.
in the second section of the games, and I feel like you're gonna climb up a bit from that as well, because just if you look at Evoke's games, he don't, to be fair, being Jenga Benga says a lot, but
Mm.
I feel like Taste Rainbows maybe not so much.
Perhaps.
I have just gotten into this lobby, by the way. I have
Oh,
no
excellent.
idea what game it is.
Well, it
Verball's
would probably be game
1-1.
two. Yeah.
It's 1-1. It's looking really tight.
Interesting.
Both players making a lot of mistakes. Chromium is playing super loose. He's over committed for 2 balls now.
Interesting. Well, maybe Chromium playing with a bit too much confidence, perhaps. Basing all the predictions we've picking up, maybe that's gone into his game a little bit. We'll have to see.
Well,
I
he's the
doubt it
thing, though.
somewhat, but maybe just
I,
just being outclassed by Vubwell, it's very possible.
I think it could very well just be being outclassed, and then he had a brilliant matchup against Raheenan just from experience.
Yeah.
Um,
We can see his
we've seen,
matchups in week one. Like we said, he went up against the bottom two players in this division, Jamingo and Krill. By everyone's estimations, beat Krill 2-0, without any effort. But then was taken close by Jamingo, which was really interesting. Who's at the moment, based on new results, he's now the bottom player in the league, Jamingo, and
yeah,
looking like he's gonna have a pretty dreadful season. After a dream run in qualifying, he's not looking the absolute best in the main event. But Chromium losing to Vedball now, a game down, and I don't know
2-2.
if it's still level in the second game. So still lots to play for there, but clearly he is not miles away from the pack by any means, if he's even
Yeah.
on the top of it.
Chromium's starting to control the game a little bit more now. You see, I feel like I can see how Jamingo done so well against him. I genuinely can, because he's got that exploitable placed.
Hmm.
Like, I don't want to say exploitable from like mistakes, but you kind of know like he's very easy to put off.
Right.
I think. Um, doesn't seem the most mechanically inept either. I didn't actually see the Chromium Raheaton game, but I've heard very good things about him from it, so I don't want to judge him too harshly off this. But this and the Jamingo result it raises questions.
Certainly does. We'll see if he can answer them, of course, and still in that match against Vebwal with many more to go in the week. He has three this
Yeah.
week, of course.
Do you know what the sorry, not to change everything completely. Do you know what your score against Leon was in that series?
My score against Leon was 2-1. It was a bit of a. There
No, I
always
don't
seems to be
know.
some kind of. Sorry.
No, do you know the individual game scores though?
Um, yeah, I believe I do.
A
So,
vague idea.
yeah, so game one was a one goal game, which was very eventful.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard it already, Sam, but it was 7-6 to me with 20 seconds left on the clock, and then um, our good pal and moderator in Casual Open, Mist, who's a great guy, joined the party and joined the match and started playing for Leon, um, with 20 seconds to go in that match, which was interesting, and we couldn't get through to him with him being on console, so the game just finished out, and
Um,
Leon did win the game 8-7, so that was 1-0 to him. And
and
then, yeah.
um, we do have some interesting staff at Casual Open, really, don't we?
We do. It's
Um,
a mix of characters, but it just makes it all the more interesting.
how is that?
I'm not quite sure. He said he didn't realize it was a solo series game. I'm not sure what was going through his head, but he did play
How
for
did it?
Leon for
How
that
did
last
he?
20 seconds.
How did he get into the party?
Leon must have invited him or something. It wasn't something we wasn't
And
something
then
we really planned, but
once he joined, he was then in the party, so you could have typed to him in party chat.
yeah, it was sort of like we were in play, so it was sort of a weird thing where either we stopped playing or
I just went with it.
just played on, and that was what happened. Uh, and just decided to leave the game as it was. Seemed just the easy solution. Then the second game, I won 8-2 or something like that. It was fairly comfortable. And then the last game was
Yeah,
an overtime, and I won that one 2-1.
yeah.
So
I don't know how I feel about that being listed off as 2-1.
yeah,
That's
I'm
interesting.
conflicted myself, but what can you do? These
I mean,
things happen, I guess.
that's the equivalent of a streaker coming into a football
Yeah,
match.
exactly,
And
exactly.
a
Casual
member of
Open, they
the
have.
and a member of the FAI themselves, a member from from the staff who run football, and then they score a goal.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. It was it was a difficult position obviously because it was my decision as the admin of the event, but also I was playing the match, so it was tough to make an unbiased decision there. I felt like any decision to replay the game or cancel the game would be it wouldn't be free from bias, so I just left it as it was. Not an ideal situation by any means, but glad I won the series anyway. If I lost it, it could have been could have been a bit disappointing.
Um, yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Um, so I can't get over that. He joined. Did he score?
I
Who
can't
got the
remember what
finishing
happened. It was
goal?
sort of all a blur then once he joined.
Right.
I
I don't
don't think he
know.
scored, but yeah.
He definitely contributed. Was it an even kickoff? Was it?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. Trying to forget it, forget it as quickly as possible, but obviously it does end 2-1. Not going to make a huge difference, but if that game differential comes back to bite me at the end, I won't be happy. Let me tell you.
Um, yeah, no, if that game that's quite controversial. That's
It is,
interesting.
certainly is.
Um, yeah, no, we'll have to be having a little talk to Mist about that one.
Well,
Um,
it's been squashed now. It's a few days ago, but
interesting, interesting.
some other interesting results as well in the division. Obviously, you mentioned Leon, having not the best start. He obviously lost that match. Also got 2-0'd by Jenga Benga, who he seemed to struggle against significantly. Leon Jenga Benga, I would say. For so long, Sam, we said Leon was like the kryptonite of Taste Rainbows, for example, and
Yeah,
it's almost seeming
in the
like
same
Jenga
way.
Benga is sort of Leon's player that you just cannot quite figure out. Um, and has gotten 2-0 both times they've played, and they've not even been, from what I've heard, not like especially close games, like pretty comfortable every time they've
Yeah,
played. Um, so Jenga's looking good. Did get 2-0 by Evoke then though, so I mean we could easily be in a world where Jenga is looking like the clear best player, but then he's got 2-0 by Evoke, which sort of makes it a lot more interesting and asks a lot of questions about this division as well.
yeah. Sorry, not to completely interrupt your train of thought. Game two, we're assuming it's game two. Nobody's
Yes.
left yet, which is a good sign.
Chromium 8-3 up, I see. Okay.
8-3. And he's
Interesting.
freestyling a bit as well. There's a bit of style. So,
Mm.
yeah,
He's
no.
maybe just figuring out that ball a little bit there, so it's going
Oh,
to be a very interesting game three.
well, apparently that was game three.
Oh dear. So Chromium's won the match.
Yep,
There you go. Well, not without drama, clearly, but Chromium has taken down Webwall. 2-1, I
2-1.
guess. 2-1. Right, so there was a game played before that initial one.
Yeah,
Interesting, but clearly he was taken very close. Obviously, the last game wasn't as close, but
yeah.
lost the game fairly comfortably,
I,
6-3 or something.
yeah, we've yet to have a game in the out at top four, where
That
it's not
wasn't
2-1.
2-1. Yeah, well,
Have we
that's great
have
for
we
the
had
league.
what have we had a game that I'm just thinking, I don't think we've had a game in Champion to other than Krill versus Chromium.
And Krill versus yourself.
Okay,
Krill's
right,
two
right.
matches, yeah, and everything else has been game three, yeah.
Jeez, that's pretty insane, I think.
Yeah, it's a great time for the league. It's really tight, and I mean, like I said, I think we could see some runs in playoffs. Obviously, it's a gauntlet playoff bracket.
Yeah,
I think we could see someone maybe going from that third, fourth place match. Maybe you could see a run to the final, maybe even taking the title, because everyone is that
absolutely.
close.
Um, I think if I was to see someone do it, I think it would have to be Webwall. I can't imagine Rahiden beating Chromium.
That's sort of the
Um,
big problem for him. I feel like he's going to struggle against Chromium.
yeah. I think Webwall could go from fourth to fourth. I would that would be a really See, I'd like to see Webwall in the final because I feel like he brings a lot uh,
Yeah,
to a lot of unpredictability.
definitely, yeah. And Rebel as a kind of player can really pop off on the day. I feel like and
Yeah,
make a run and very momentum based as well. And you know, obviously there's been talk about him being maybe toxic or whatever, but whatever you say about him, he doesn't play. He plays better actually under those
yeah.
circumstances where there's a bit of a grudge match or whatever. We've seen it a few times with himself and Haskell and the like of that. Um, he actually plays
Um,
better under that sort of uh, pressure of a rivalry, and under just in pressure in general. I think Webwall is definitely capable of doing well, making a run in playoffs.
um, no, I'm just thinking to myself here. I can't. So many games I want to see our champion to like in these playoffs. I
Yeah.
want to see. I want to see Red Bull versus Rahiden again. That's a must-have. I want to see. Oh my God, there's so many games.
Yeah,
Even in Challenger.
we can see week two games there, all the week two games, a few more than week one, just with the scheduling. That's how it worked out. Just a couple more in both divisions. Some really tasty matchups. You look at your division, you and Chromium, potentially that battle for top spot. Chromium and Rahiden as well. Chromium and Vebwell just played, and some juicy matchups in Challenger tier as well, and that in that battle for playoffs.
Absolutely. It is a real battle, and I'm not saying Challenger isn't close, but I feel like Champions on almost another level of like,
I would say I would agree, and it's almost the opposite of what we thought before this league went on. We've always said Challenger, that has the competition sorted, and there's always really close games, and maybe Champion a bit more dominated by one or two players historically, but it's actually been the flip side, I think, in this one, where
yeah.
you've seen Challenger maybe a top two kind of emerging clearly, whereas in Champion, every single game except Krill's game have gone to game three, as you said. So really fascinating.
Even Domingo taking people to game threes,
Yeah,
who knows? A very good week from him, and mind you, I hadn't started well. One game down against me going into that series, but I know that sounds weird. I'd love to lose to Domingo. I'd probably prefer to lose to Domingo than win. Um,
yeah, it's just too hard.
I'd never let him win is the thing.
Yeah, yeah, has to
But
earn it. Has to earn it.
yeah, exactly. It's like a child playing chess against their like grandfather. You never let them win.
Eventually, they
But
have to surpass, naturally. Yeah, absolutely. Domingo, he's not looking like the best at the moment in the standings, but like you said, he's taken people close. He just can't close out the games. So, potentially we could be looking at sort of an 0-5 record from Domingo, but I think
yeah,
we could be looking at not too bad given that final result that we're maybe expecting at this point. We could not the game differential might not actually be too bad from Domingo as he is taking games off most people.
taking games off now enough everyone who's played so far to completion.
Yeah.
Other than Rahiden, I suppose actually. But for me, Minecraft both took the game free. Um,
Yeah, well, Domingo's playing Rahiden this week, of course. So we'll see how that one goes. Another one where do you think Domingo could beat Rahiden on a good day? I'm looking at that
um,
matchup, maybe potentially. I feel like.
well, I feel like Domingo could beat me on a good day if we weren't so familiar with each other,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I kind of know what buttons to press, and I don't know. I see no reason why Rahiden can't lose to Jimmins.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see one of those top dogs, maybe losing to one of the couple of the bottoms, Krill and Jamingo. I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Jamingo not go 0-5 as well. Take a victory. I think everyone would love to see that. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, really hotting up in champion tier, and whatever the result at the end of this league play is, it's still going to be a hot competition going into playoffs. These final standings in league play could be overturned very easily if one player has a hot day.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. So I know I've been. My mind has been bouncing everywhere today. It's just the excitement of solo
Well, this
series.
is it.
Yeah, no, this is it indeed. Um, we're looking at Taste versus Leon.
Yeah. It's a matchup that
What?
has not gone very well for Taste, obviously, historically. But the last time they played, actually extremely close. So
I
maybe
I
Taste
I
is
I
on the uptake there.
I believe that. No, I don't believe, but I want to believe. You see, I want to
I would
believe in it.
love to see Taste Rainbows beat Leon. Finally, I would love to see that.
Who do you think the top four coming out of Challenger will be?
Well, obviously, so there's been significant questions about Range's participation in the rest of the league. I think it's near enough confirmed probably that he won't be playing this week, and he'll be forfeiting all his matches so far. Thankfully, he didn't win any of his two in week one. That would be very disappointing
Unfair.
for those
Yeah.
players to play him and lose, and then he not play the rest of his matches. So it shouldn't cause too much damage, but it'll effectively take one less spot away and make it easier for top four. So then really we're saying which player is not making top four. Uh,
Oh,
so
I think I know who it's gonna be.
uh, um, yeah, I mean Taste obviously sitting at the bottom of the standings at the moment. Hasn't won a game yet in his two matches. Got 2-0'd by both Jenga Benga and um, who's the other player Taste played last week? We can take a look here. Evoke. He played Evoke last week. So two of the top three, Taste played and lost. Both 2-0 though. He's not. He still has to take games. And Taste is someone who should be competing close, if not winning series all the time. Should be competing close with I think even the top dogs in this division. and he's not doing so at the moment. So maybe just not feeling himself. Maybe just these players are just improving at a rate that he's not keeping up with. Time will tell, and we'll see how he does in these matchups in this week.
Yeah, it's do or die for him at this
It
point.
is.
All he has to do is not come last in the table near enough, and he's in.
Yeah, well,
And
I think it's kind of hard now to, at this point, given the current standings. You have myself on 2 wins, um, Jenga 2-1, and Evoke 2-0 as well. It's sort of almost looking like a two-man race really between Leon and Taste, uh, to get that fourth spot, barring absolutely huge, like multiple upsets in different directions, which will be
yeah,
required. It's looking like it's going to be one of those two, and obviously you said that Leon has had a very dominant matchup against Taste. How incredible would it be though if Taste finally gets the win to make playoffs over Leon? That would be. I'd love to see that one.
and then comes from fourth, and he
Yeah, and
wins
then,
the
then
whole
makes the
thing.
dream run. Well, that would be something else. That would be something else.
Um, who are you most scared of in playoffs? Because I feel
Mm,
like you're comfortable enough. You're probably gonna make playoffs. I think that's fair to say. Um,
yeah.
who are you looking at and thinking, oh, don't know about that one now?
Yeah. Well, both in playoffs and week two play, I guess. Um, I haven't really played Evoke a whole lot. I've played him a couple of private matches that weren't, of variable
Yeah,
seriousness, I guess. So it's kind of hard to gauge off that. I suppose I have to say Evoke, given that he's top of the table at the moment. And then Taste. Taste is a player I've never really been able to
beat.
consistently. Well, I think I can consistently beat
Yeah,
him, but
yeah,
it's never a crushing win for me. It's always close. Even if I would say I would take the majority of the matchups, it's never distant. So just based on that, I would have to say I'm not confident about. Certainly I would not be expecting to destroy Taste going into that matchup whatsoever. Be you know nervous enough going into that one, but I feel like if I do play my game, I'm pretty confident against any players in this division.
yeah,
And
uh,
it'll be on me if I lose, really, more than anything else, I think.
yeah, yeah. Um, it's interesting what you brought up there. Like one player's loss is another player's win, and it's gotta be tough in Challenger at the minute. There's only like four people are gonna take the dub, and then one person is just
Yeah,
gonna take the fat L.
yeah. With Wrench bowing out, it's gonna, it's not gonna be the nicest for these guys. Uh,
I'll tell you what'd be fun.
what with that?
Imagine if we extended, right? If we extended the playoffs to the top five, and done a whole, we just extended the gauntlet.
Everyone wins, yeah.
But
Obviously, we'd need we
but
need
then
those free spots.
rainbows.
We need those free spots, of course, for qualifiers to get in next season as well, which is
Oh,
kind of nice.
of course.
Um,
But
but Rainbows gets to join in.
do the bottom two spots off of playoffs. All the more reason to I mean, obviously we're not doing this, but I think that would be fun.
It is interesting to see what different formats would give kind of different results and to see those matchups. Obviously, a lot of them, I feel like a lot of those matchups that might be happening in playoffs actually are happening in week two here anyway. Like
Mhm.
we're seeing a lot of people in similar positions matching up in general. Like you look at Wrench and Taste, that's obviously a match that probably won't go ahead, but if it were to, you'd see the bottom two facing off. We'd see myself and Evoke, the top two at the moment. Leon and Taste again. There's only one or two plays between them, and we're kind of looking now with Wrench not playing, like they're probably going to be the two fighting for playoffs. Then you look again, myself and Jenga, who are both top two. I feel like there's a lot of really good matches that are deciding, um, in some cases, who makes playoffs at all, and then seeding for playoffs and getting all those buys are so important. Obviously, in the gauntlet bracket,
Yeah,
every seed counts. Whether it's a game up in the quarterfinals if you're a third or fourth seed, or second and first, obviously they get buys to their respective rounds. So every single seed counts in this league play, and it's rewarding those results in league play. A lot of some other formats, once you get to playoffs, it's kind of all the same. But really, we're rewarding consistency in the league, and that top player is only going to have to win the final. They're going to be in the final automatically, and they'll have to
yeah.
play whoever comes through the gauntlet.
and it's a massive task to undertake. Going into a fourth, I don't care how good of a player you are, how much better you are than anyone, having to win a series where you're down one. That's not fun times.
Definitely.
And then you're playing against the second seed, and then like there's such a. I mean, you by getting first place in this league are effectively giving yourself at least a 50% chance of winning, if
Yeah,
not
it's so
higher,
much
because based off,
it's so
yeah,
much a headache that you're saving from a potential playoff run that you might otherwise need. But you mentioned that
yeah,
quarterfinal one game head start or deficit, depending on your position. I've actually experienced the wrong side of that myself in OTT League playoffs a while back. I was playing Lanthos in that
it's
match.
big.
I don't know if you probably don't remember.
I,
I think I
no,
played
I
you
don't.
after winning it, actually. Interestingly enough, in the semis. We all know how that one went. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, and I was the game down against Lanthos. He was third and I was fourth, and it's really tough. You just have to play every game as it comes in that scenario. And you can't have the bigger picture in your mind because otherwise you're gonna keep reminding yourself of how impossible the task is. And I did eventually win that game five, which was a pretty good win. But just for the record. But no, it is tough. It is tough. But again, that tests not just the. I feel like in solo series we're testing so much the mental side of the game, just as much as we are the mechanics, the decision making, the actual play. The mentality is
Yeah,
so huge in ones above all.
yeah, I was gonna say even the fact that it's ones brings a lot of that, and then I mean the format that we have for this is like even as you mentioned, starting a series down. I've experienced that. I'm sure I've experienced that somewhere. I've experienced that in a threes league once, right? A
Hmm.
threes tournament, starting a game down. Even in threes, you're sitting there and thinking like, if we lose one game, and then we're one game away from being knocked out, and it's a
Yeah,
stupid way to look at it, but it's true.
yeah. You just
And
can't afford to do it. You just have to be so strong
yeah,
mentally if you're gonna
I,
win.
I, and it genuinely it makes like going into a series one game up. I've also experienced, and it is amazing. It's the
Yeah.
greatest feeling
Yeah.
ever.
Well, it's a
Um,
deserved it's a deserved benefit for whoever does finish in those third spot versus fourth. Obviously, otherwise there would be no advantage to finishing third as opposed to fourth, and that's sort of That's obviously that's the halfway point division of the league with there being six. So typically
yeah,
you'd see that'd be the difference between having a positive or negative record for the most part. Um, so important to reward that I think in the
yeah,
form of a game head start, which makes a big difference. But obviously the top two seeds they get a whole bye, a whole round bye. They don't even have to play another match. Um, number two is in the semi-finals, and the top dog obviously waiting in the final for whoever can get through.
um, I can't believe we have it like this. It's amazing. First place just in the final. Like,
Yeah, well, it's deserved for that
no,
consistency that
absolutely.
we that you have to win these league play matches. It's only five
Yeah,
matches and only best of threes. Again, we've talked about this before. It's so cutthroat. You have to be on it from the word go, and there's no throwaway matches. Every match counts, and you have to put
yeah,
everything into it. Otherwise, you're going to lose, and you're not going to be getting that top spot.
yeah.
Whoever
No,
gets the top spot in both divisions will have put a huge amount of effort mentally and mechanically and everything else into every match they've played.
yeah. I mean, it really is just no second chances. I mean, you look at people who've had a bit of a dodgy week one. Over the course of a week, you played three games and you've lost two. You've put yourself in a pretty bad position because then at best you make playoffs and you've got to win for like three games back to back, one of them at a disadvantage,
Yeah, I mean
as
that
opposed
if we
to just just chilling in the final, just waiting.
you can see again some of the last week matches, but if you look at the Leon here, for example, two two losses out of three. That's exactly the position you just described. A tough one for him, and we're talking about him sort of battling it out with the likes of Taste to make that playoff. He's sitting there just barely at the moment, and we'll see if he can do it. We will.
Absolutely. We do have a little announcement lined up. Do we want to start moving things
Yeah, we
along?
can we can do that. We can do that. Just give a final look at the matches here. from both weeks and what we have to look forward to in solo series week 2, which is going to be really interesting. But moving on from solo series entirely, we do have a little sneak peek here for you of a new Casual Open event that's coming up pretty shortly, Sam. We're not going to give too much away in this little announcement. Stay tuned in the Casual Open Discord over the next
Yeah.
few days. But
I'll be careful to hold my tongue now.
yeah, we are gonna be announcing Duo Series number 2, and this is
hmm
something that we are really excited for, Sam. It's a totally new format. No more league play for Duo Series. This is going to be a cup-based system, and
Yeah,
it's going to be so interesting.
yeah. So I'm almost waiting for your PowerPoint to move along on my side of things, so I don't say too much.
Ah, yeah, of
But
course.
bi-weekly cup. So every 2 weeks you've got a twos cup, right? Every 2 weeks, different cup. It's
Hmm.
fantastic. Depending on how you do in these cups, that's the overarching qualification to earn the right to play in the main event, the Victors Cup,
Yes,
which I mean I don't know about you, but see I wasn't too big of a fan of the old Duo series, and me and Spuff and Evoke and all the other staff kind of got talking, and this is kind of what we've come up with. Obviously you'll see like the full announcement later,
in the coming days, yeah,
in
as
the
we
coming days,
finalize
in the coming days.
some dates and sign up information
Yeah,
and the like. But yeah, this is going to be something totally different than we've done in the past. Like you said, Duo Series, it was a great event, but it had its drawbacks obviously in the format of league play.
yeah,
Very different to solo series is now, and obviously solo series will be something that we're fully continuing on, and we're loving where that's going. And I think everyone who's tuning into these podcasts will as well, because the level of competition that we've seen is fantastic. But we realise ones isn't for everyone, and even for the players who do like ones, it's not all they wanna not all they wanna play in. So we are going to be bringing back Duo Series for a second run in a new cup format, and this is going to be a
yeah.
long-term circuit of cups.
And I feel almost inclined to mention this will be going alongside the monthly solo series cups.
Yes.
So we'll have solo series on one end of things, and then on alternating weeks you've got duo series cups as well to play in, and then obviously community games. Now you've got the casual catch up to look forward
Of
to.
course.
Um, I mean that's about the height of it. There's a few more little things
Of course, crew battles
in
thrown in
the
there as
in the
well.
future.
Whenever you want to, crew battles,
Did,
which just launched last week, going very
did,
well.
did I not mention crew battles?
You might
I,
have
I
if you
might
did,
have.
but
I might have.
we're really expanding here and looking to just have something for everyone
Yeah,
in casual open. And like Sam said, this cup system will run every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks we'll have a duo series cup, 3 cups, cup 1, 2, and 3, and they will all carry points in the leaderboard for duo series um, for the Victors Cup, which is going to include the top 8 players per tier. So there's 2 tiers, obviously, Challenger tier and Champion tier, as always, for different skill levels. And the top 8 players from each tier will be invited to the Victors Cup 2 weeks after the third cup. And then players who are all eligible for the Victors Cup, the 8 players can team with anyone they wish to. Obviously, cup to cup, there's no you don't have to stick with the same teammate. You can team with whoever you want cup to cup. It's an individual tracking system for points. You can play with the same person if you want to. You can change it up week to week. But there's some going to be some really interesting combinations we're going to see as well as everything else, Sam. We'll see who sticks together and who tries to chop and change to get the best results.
chop and change. I don't know anyone familiar or what stuff might be referencing there.
Oh, I don't think I'm
Um,
referencing anything with that. Just people changing it up, you know.
yeah, no, mixing things up,
Yeah.
as people do. So I feel like I want to give more away stuff, even though we haven't even confirmed like
Well, obviously
a lot of this amongst
there, there'll
ourselves.
be some details that we're going to be finalizing in the coming hours, even and days. Um, but this is the basic structure of Duo Series, and I think this teaser is going to leave a lot left for people to look forward to in the full
Yeah.
announcement, and we'll have all the details in terms of sign-ups and registration and all that in that announcement. But this format, just the overall format, Sam, I'm really looking forward to because, I mean, just the fact that it's completely open in a way. Solo series really for the exclusive, the top ones players in each tier, in challenger tier and champion tier, who make it in through the qualifiers and then retain their spot if they place well in the league. This
Yeah,
this is a completely open circuit of cups. Anyone can play at any time in these cups. They're completely open within their skill tier and team with anyone they want. And that's going to make it really interesting to see the combinations. Like I said, who's going to team with who. Will people be fighting over teammates? Maybe we'll see. We'll see people in the fight to get the best teammate possible and do the best on an individual level. Of course, this is an individual event, and then we'll have our final winning team from the Victors' Cup, which will of course include a prize pool for the Victors' Cup. So the winners and um, players who do well in that Victors' Cup, there will be prize money on the line at the end of the 8 weeks that this entire series will run for. It's a long-term
yeah,
event, much more long-term than Solo Series. Obviously, Solo Series, a 2-week league play event followed by playoffs plus qualifiers is a 4-week span for an entire Solo Series event. This is going to be much more long, and thing is, each cup is part of an overall event, but each cup is as big as a normal casual open event. Sam, the scale of this duo series is going to be absolutely huge. Every duo series cup, 1, 2, and 3, plus Victor's Cup, they merit to be events of their own in their own right completely, and they're
yeah.
going to be
I
huge.
mean, you'll be getting a role in the Discord. Like it's, I know, I say it like, oh, a role in the Discord. No, it's on the same scale as the monthly cups we've done before, if not bigger,
Absolutely.
because more people will be playing in them. So
And then they all lead into that bigger picture of the Victors' Cup, which might be the biggest, certainly I think the biggest single day event that we will ever have run when it comes around the Victors' Cup.
yeah,
Because, like I said, those cups that we've done before, if as big, if not bigger, as they were these duo series cups, each one of them is going to be huge. Each one of them is going to be a prestigious event, and the winners of each one of them will have accomplished something really great in themselves, and that's only the start.
yeah. I don't care if you're a challenger player, champion player, even winning one of these cups, or even doing quite decent in them. I consider that quite like a few thousand hours in the game at least. Like, come on
Oh,
now.
it'll be a big achievement to even, yeah, like you said, even do well in a single cup, and that just makes the achievement of winning the overall Victors Cup at the end of the system
Yeah,
so huge. It'll be probably the biggest casual open title there's ever been. Solo Series, of course, very prestigious in his own right, but this Victors Cup at the end will be absolutely huge.
yeah. Best of the best. Now imagine winning solo series and then duo series
Yeah, well,
back
we'll
to
see. We'll
back.
see if anyone get the double exactly. Yeah, obviously, I myself looking for the solo series and duo series double in challenger tier. I think Krill,
Yeah,
my teammate, obviously in duo series, also looking to win champion. I don't know how that's going for him so far. Not the best, I don't think, Sam. But yeah, that's
yeah.
gonna make it. That's gonna play in as well. Who can anyone collect these titles? Like the Infinity Stones. Can they get them all, Sam?
Yeah, no, and if you get them all, I don't know what you can quite do with them.
We'll have to come up with something. We have to come up with
flex,
something.
flex on everything else, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just for, I mean, that's what I've been. I don't know if I can see my
Well, Sam,
roles in the Discord.
you've had some
It,
limited success in the past.
limited. Okay, excuse me. Kush reminding us, of course, the Pokemon Battle event. Pretty exciting.
Yes.
I actually don't know too much about that, but I have the gist, and it looks like it looks like it'll be a fun night at the very least.
Yeah, the
Um,
community events as well. Another aspect we didn't even mention in Casual Open that are always
yeah,
ongoing. Evoke and Kush doing great work there. Like they said, the 2v2 Pokemon battle will be happening in just a few days on Thursday this week. So make sure you get signed up if you haven't already, because that is another thing in this bigger picture Casual Open that's developing. Sam, it's really exciting to see.
yeah, and of course, with this, staff applications are still open.
Yep.
Looking for casters, streamers, media staff, mods. I mean, basically every like. I don't care who you are. You probably have a talent that can help us. So
Yeah, we're just looking for enthusiastic people to help out the community, and they are still open, like you said. Maybe Kush, my good mod, if you could throw in the link, if you could get it in the next couple of minutes for staff applications, as we are wrapping the show up here. If anyone's watching and is interested and hasn't already, please do apply because we've got some great new staff. Sam, you just joined the admin team and it's
oh,
going
I know,
fantastically.
exciting stuff. Yeah, no,
Um,
it's fun stuff.
and they're still open, so you can join in and maybe you can have some input on Duo Series 2 or any other new event that's coming up.
Apparently, it's in the panels.
It's in the panels of the stream. Thank
I
you very
I
much,
don't I, don't-
Kush.
I don't know that it is. Is it? Okay, if you go to the Discord, is there? Um,
Just talking to staff
scro-
applications there, Kush. I don't know if that's you could of course join the Discord, of course. Very much recommended, and all the links are there in their own right. But
yeah, no, of course you just there's a panel there. I'll get the actual link there. The panel's there for our Discord, so you can go through that, of course.
of course,
Staff application also. I'm putting in the chat there.
thank you
There it
very
is
much,
there.
Sam. There's the
Um,
there's the form Kush on it as well. But do
Unlucky
sign up there
Kush.
if you're interested.
I think that's obviously you've done the schedule for the show today. Stuff is that
Yeah, that's gonna be just about a wrap. Um, very excited for Duo Series 2.
oh, I
Just
could
this
go
is
for a
just a
wrap, you
sneak peek.
know.
Yeah, you can get a wrap after the show, Sam, if you're
Thanks,
looking for one.
Buff.
I give you
Thanks.
permission as your admin. But but Duo
Thank you.
Series 2, this is just a sneak peek, of course. This is not the full story. We will be announcing the full Duo Series with all its information very soon. But the main event still remains Solo Series for the moment, and we are very excited for Week 2 Elite Play. Stay tuned for more casual catch up and more streams of Solo Series Elite Play coming very soon throughout the week and beyond. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.